Traditionally, scaffolding a web application from scratch is a 3-month grind. You spend weeks configuring environments and setting up routing and arguing over directory structures before a single user ever clicks a button. But that timeline is collapsing. Today, a single natural language prompt can generate a fully functional user interface, complete with database connections, in about 5 minutes. Driving this shift is Lovable. Originally launched as an open-source project called GPT Engineer, it has become a dominant platform for what developers call vibe coding. Vibe coding is a development style where software is built by describing desired features in natural language rather than writing manual code. Founded in Stockholm, Lovable reached $400 million in annual recurring revenue with a team of fewer than 150 employees. In early 2026, its valuation hit $6.6 billion following a rapid expansion from its open-source origins. The core bottleneck for project leaders has rarely been writing the actual front-end components. Developers waste weeks stuck behind the integration wall, wiring up authentication protocols, managing state, and provisioning databases. Lovable functions as a full-stack operator, provisioning the backend, writing the middleware, and deploying the application. This autonomy allows the platform to handle the integration tasks that typically consume the first month of a development cycle. The bottleneck of software creation is shifting from typing boilerplate syntax to simply defining the business logic you want to execute. Lovable enforces a specific web stack: React, Tailwind, Vite, and Supabase. Vite speeds up development by serving code over native browser modules. This rigid framework is intentional. It prevents the AI models from making architectural errors or mixing incompatible libraries. The tool handles the entire backend automatically. When you ask for a user login, it instantly provisions a secure Postgres database and sets up the authentication, or auth, policies. Authentication is the security process of verifying a user's identity before granting them access to an application. Because it writes standard React code, you own the output. Unlike older drag-and-drop website builders that lock your data into a proprietary platform, you can export the entire repository to GitHub at any time. By trading the freedom to choose any random framework for a highly optimized stack, development teams can compress their idea-to-production timeline from months to minutes. At the core of this platform is an event-driven architecture starting with the Agentic Planner. An event-driven architecture is a software design pattern where the system responds to specific occurrences or events, such as a user submitting a prompt. When you submit a prompt, the orchestrator breaks it down into a sequence of highly specific engineering subtasks, like creating a database table or adding a new API route. These tasks are then passed to a virtual file system. A virtual file system is a simulated disk that allows the AI to organize and modify code in a structured environment before it is written to a real repository. The generated code is instantly validated through a preview-to-code feedback loop. The system runs a background check and hot reloads the changes into a live browser sandbox, instantly showing you the result. Decoupling the large language model's reasoning from the live execution environment ensures that a minor syntax error won't crash the entire application while it generates. A large language model, or LLM, is the underlying AI engine that processes and generates text. For long-running code generation tasks, the architecture relies on background queues. Background queues are systems that manage tasks in the order they are received, allowing the main program to remain responsive while the AI processes heavy workloads. This decoupled loop allows the system to plan, execute, and verify code changes autonomously, functioning as a dedicated coding agent rather than a text generator. This chart shows application complexity on the y-axis and customization on the x-axis, highlighting a sweet spot for applications that follow standard web patterns. These typically rely on CRUD operations. CRUD stands for Create, Read, Update, and Delete, the 4 basic operations required to manage data in a database. Internal business tools sit perfectly in the center of this optimal zone. Custom CRM systems, inventory management panels, and employee onboarding portals are exactly what this stack is designed to handle. Project managers can use natural language to map these generated dashboards directly to their existing company data, bypassing the need for a dedicated backend engineer. Major enterprises like Klarna and HubSpot use this approach to replace expensive software contracts by rapidly building their own custom alternatives. If your project relies on standard relational data and standard database operations, Lovable offers a significant return on investment. But there are strict architectural boundaries. When you push this tool past standard web application paths, the system breaks down. Avoid using this platform for math-intensive computational backends, like video editors or trading algorithms. It is currently designed for web applications and cannot build native mobile applications for iOS or Android. Massive legacy codebases are another hazard. In these environments, the AI's context window maxes out, causing it to lose track of the overarching architecture. A context window is the maximum amount of text an AI model can process and remember at one time. This leads to the fix-break-fix loop. This is a frustrating cycle where the AI attempts to debug complex logic, but its fixes simply introduce new, cascading architectural errors. Pushing Lovable into highly specialized, hardware-integrated, or deeply legacy environments will lead to AI hallucinations and wasted development time. This matrix compares Lovable against competitors like Bolt.new, Cursor, and v0.dev based on their ideal use cases and Git integration. Contextualizing these platforms helps development teams choose the correct tool for their specific skill levels. Compared to Bolt.new, Lovable is highly opinionated. Bolt offers more framework flexibility if you want to experiment with Vue or Svelte, but it lacks the deep database wiring that Lovable provides out of the box. Next to Vercel's v0.dev, Lovable prioritizes the backend. While v0 is the gold standard for generating polished React components for the frontend, it is weaker at building complex, relational backend logic from scratch. Many developers use Lovable for the initial build and then migrate to Cursor AI when they require the granular control of a full IDE to maintain complex code bases. An IDE, or Integrated Development Environment, is a software suite that provides the tools a programmer needs to write, test, and debug code. Lovable wins for non-technical founders and product managers who need full-stack applications today, while Cursor wins for professional developers who require absolute control over every line of code. Lovable serves as a rapid launch engine for modern software creation. By handling the majority of database setup and boilerplate plumbing, it eliminates the blank page problem. Boilerplate refers to standard, repetitive sections of code that are required to start a project, but do not contain unique logic. For the remaining percentage of highly custom, low-level logic, your best move is to export the clean React code and migrate it into a professional development environment to finish the job manually. Look at your own operations. What internal bottleneck or tool sitting in your backlog could you prototype and deploy this very afternoon? This is Narendra Singh Rathod. Follow for insights on AI tools, project leadership, and technology innovation.